The big topic swirling around the Philadelphia Eagles right now is all about potential trades. And once again, the focus shifts to the defensive backfield. Greg Newsome, cornerback for the Cleveland Browns, has become one of the hottest names linked to Philly. And honestly, when you take a step back and look at the kind of players Howie Roseman typically targets, Newsome fits that mold almost perfectly. There's a lot to break down here, and over the next several minutes, we're going deep on what makes Newsome such an intriguing option, why the Eagles could pull the trigger, and what this means for the rest of the secondary. But first, let's quickly rewind to a story that's been lingering around for a while: Asante Samuel Jr. This was another name that kept popping up in Eagles rumors. ESPN reported that Philly had him on their radar, and the timing of that report got people wondering, did that have something to do with why the Eagles didn't sign Jaire Alexander? That's a valid question. Samuel Jr. is recovering from neck surgery he had earlier in the spring, and he's scheduled for a medical recheck in July. That uncertainty probably played a part in Philly backing off when it comes to injury history, especially something as serious as neck surgery. Teams tend to get cautious. Now let's pivot to the safety position, because the questions there are just as big. The Eagles still don't have a clear answer on who will line up next to Reed Blankenship when the regular season kicks off. Sidney Brown, Drew Makuba, and the veteran Justin Simmons are all in the conversation. It's wide open at this point, and there's been a lot of debate about who will ultimately win that job. If you're wondering, yes, we've already covered that whole situation in detail in another video, so definitely check that out if you want the full breakdown. Getting back to the trade talk, let's acknowledge where we are on the NFL calendar. It's late June. This is traditionally the slowest stretch of the entire NFL year. From the end of minicamp to the start of training camp, things tend to quiet down. The NFL has done a masterful job of turning its product into almost a year-round cycle of news and events, but even with that, this window right now is kind of a dead zone. That's why these trade rumors feel even bigger. It's one of the few pieces of real intrigue we've got until teams report for training camp. Speaking of that, the Eagles are scheduled to report on July 22nd. From that point on, roster battles across the NFL are going to heat up fast. Teams will get a better look at what they actually have at each position, and some guys will inevitably become available either through trade or roster cuts. Injuries will pop up, needs will emerge across the league, and when that happens, front offices like the Eagles will have to decide whether to make a move to fill a gap. Now, let's be real here. The Eagles already have a loaded roster. They're not in full-on rebuild mode, they're in championship defense mode. That means Howie Roseman is going to be calculated with any moves he makes. He's balancing the need to keep the roster stacked with the reality that contract extensions for key players are on the horizon. Saving cap space while upgrading the team is the kind of high-wire act that Howie has become known for. When the Eagles decided not to pursue Jaire Alexander more aggressively, it raised some eyebrows. We're talking about a two-time second team All-Pro, only 28 years old. Yes, he's had his share of injuries over the past few seasons, but when healthy, he's one of the best corners in the league. The Ravens got him on a one-year deal for $4 million, with incentives that could push it to $6 million. Honestly, that's a bargain if he stays healthy. I was surprised that Howie didn't make a bigger push there, especially since it wouldn't have been a long-term financial commitment. The upside with Alexander seemed worth the risk. So where does that leave the Eagles at cornerback right now as of today? Kelee Ringo and Adoree Jackson look set to battle it out for the starting spot opposite Quinyon Mitchell. That's the picture unless Howie and new defensive coordinator Vic Fangio decide that it's time to make a move and upgrade the position. If the Eagles go out and get a corner, whether it's Newsome or someone else, that would be a clear signal that they're not entirely sold on Ringo or Jackson as full-time starters, or maybe they just want to add more depth and create more competition in the room. Now, quick side note, when I was down in New Orleans for the Super Bowl, I had some conversations with people close to the Eagles coaching staff. Remember, the defensive staff stayed intact this offseason, unlike the offensive side where there were several changes. One of the players they seemed really excited about back then was Kelee Ringo. They believed he had a bright future and they were looking forward to seeing him develop, but as much as they like his potential, bringing in a player like Newsome would definitely raise the overall talent level in that secondary. Let's talk about Greg Newsome specifically. His name has popped up in connection with the Eagles a few times over the past calendar year, And it's not just idle speculation. The Browns have had him in trade conversations multiple times, including earlier this offseason before the draft. That fact alone should tell you that Cleveland isn't exactly clinging to him like a cornerstone player. Now here's why Newsome makes sense for the Eagles. High draft pedigree. He was the 26th overall pick in the 2021 NFL Draft. Howie Roseman loves guys with first-round backgrounds. There's a reason for that. Howie truly believes in the Eagles' player development system. He trusts the coaching staff. He believes in the locker room culture. In Howie's eyes, if a talented player has struggled elsewhere, that just means it's time to bring him into Philadelphia's system and help him get back on track. Think about it. If a player showed flashes of elite play early in his career, but then hit a rough patch, Howie sees that as a buy low opportunity. He's done this before with other players, and Newsome fits the exact same profile. Let's dive into the numbers a little bit. After getting drafted out of Northwestern, Newsome had a strong rookie season. He was named to the Pro Football Writers of America All-Rookie team. That's not a small thing. In 2023, just 2 years ago, he recorded 14 pass breakups to interceptions and allowed a passer rating of 7.4.8 when targeted. Those are legit numbers. But then last season came along and things went sideways. He struggled to maintain his spot on the depth chart. There were coaching changes on the defensive side in Cleveland, with former Eagles defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz now running the Browns' defense. On top of that, Newsome suffered a hamstring injury that landed him on injured reserve. He only started 3 games all year, so yeah, his stock has taken a big hit. But again, let's not forget, we're talking about a player who was a first-round pick just a few years ago, who has shown the ability to be a high-level corner in the NFL. His value right now is as low as it's ever been, which means the price to acquire him won't be nearly as high as it would have been a year or two ago. And here's the other factor. The Browns don't have much leverage. They've already been shopping Newsome around and haven't found any takers. That gives teams like the Eagles the upper hand in trade negotiations. Philly could easily offer a mid-round draft pick and force Cleveland's hand. If the Browns aren't planning to keep him around, getting something in return makes sense for them. The Eagles also have draft capital to work with. They've done a good job over the years accumulating extra picks, and spending one to get a young, talented cornerback with upside would make a lot of sense. Another thing to consider, Newsome's versatility. Vic Fangio loves corners who can play both inside and outside, and Newsome has done exactly that throughout his career. According to the stats, he's logged over 1,400 snaps on the outside and over 1,100 snaps inside at nickel. That kind of flexibility is gold for a defensive coordinator like Fangio. Whether Newsome comes in and wins a starting job or simply provides high-quality depth, he would unquestionably make the cornerback room stronger. So now the big question is simple. Should the Eagles pull the trigger on Greg Newsome? On one hand, they could roll with what they have, give Keely Ringo and Adoree Jackson their shot, and hope the young guys develop. On the other hand, they could make a move, add more proven talent, and give themselves a better shot at locking down opposing receivers. With training camp getting closer by the day, and roster battles about to heat up, this is exactly the kind of move that could shift the dynamics in the secondary heading into the season. Alright, continuing with the second part of the video, let's really dive deep into everything surrounding Greg Newsome, the Eagles' cornerback situation, and how this potential trade fits into the bigger picture for the team as they prepare for the upcoming season. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our Philadelphia Eagles. And don't be shy, share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Philadelphia is absolutely buzzing with speculation as whispers intensify around a potentially monumental acquisition for the Eagles' defense. Star pass rusher Trey Hendrickson. Sources close to the situation, while remaining anonymous, suggest a deal could be far closer than initially believed, sending the passionate Philly faithful into a frenzy of excitement. The notion of Hendrickson, a dominant force off the edge, joining the already formidable Eagles defensive line has set the city ablaze. Known for his relentless motor and uncanny ability to get to the quarterback, Hendrickson would immediately elevate an already strong unit, potentially forming one of the most terrifying pass-rushing tandems in the league. While no official announcement has been made and both camps remain tight-lipped, the sheer volume of chatter and growing confidence among insiders points to a significant development. Rumors have swirled for weeks about Hendrickson's discontent with his current situation leading many to believe a trade was inevitable. Now, it appears the Eagles may be the team poised to capitalize. The potential impact of such a signing cannot be overstated. Should Hendrickson don the midnight green, it would signal a clear intent from the Eagles front office to go all in for a championship run. The thought of him lining up alongside the existing talent is enough to send shivers down the spines of opposing offensive coordinators. Fans are already envisioning sacks, pressures, and a defense that simply won't be denied. The coming days are sure to be filled with anxious anticipation as the sports world waits to see if this high-profile rumor becomes a reality. If it does, expect an eruption of jubilation across Philadelphia, as the prospect of Trey Hendrickson in an Eagles uniform becomes a thrilling new chapter for the team and its devoted fanbase. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Philadelphia Eagles, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.